Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Cookie Jar Golf Podcast. Sam here, and we've got an exciting episode today, a little bonus Course Diaries episode. So we've got about 30 minutes with Christiaan and Lucas. Christiaan's the chairman of Greens at Kennemer, and Lucas is the head of the links, the head greenkeeper. So this is all part of our Netherlands series content. So 7 films, all released every week, every Tuesday. And if you haven't checked it out already, go straight over to YouTube and watch the film about Kennemer, which we released on Tuesday night. Big shout out to our series sponsor, Footjoy, for helping make this dream trip become a reality. We were super lucky to get to partner with them. They're an iconic brand. They're the number one shoe in golf, trusted by more PGA players on tour than any other, and have been since 1945. So we're all a little bit precious when it comes to the glove. I personally don't think there's a better feeling than sliding into a fresh Cabretta leather glove. And the Footjoy Pure Touch is exactly that. Soft, stacks a feel, but unlike a lot of other premium range gloves, stands up to the corded grips that we insist on playing, wild weather and the 36-hole loops that we got in, without ripping or shredding. It's a premium glove, and it's no surprise why it's so popular on tour. Footjoy, the number one glove in the UK, and did you know that 1 in every 2 UK golfers will be teeing it up with a Footjoy on their left or their right hand? Just hopefully not both. Once again, delighted to be partnering with Footjoy in this series. We're big fans of the products, and to have them support Cookie Jar and helping us bring this content to you means a lot to us. For more on Footjoy, head over to @FootjoyEurope or visit www.footjoy.co.uk. And without further ado, it's over to the pod with Christiaan and Lucas.
Watch this.
How's the start to the year been for you?
Yeah, still okay. We're expecting some frost next week.
Okay.
We're going to close for 1 or 2 days, but mostly good weather, stable.
Yeah, good.
The rain has stopped.
What do you do in the frost? There's a real difference of views in this country when we get frost on our greens. Some stay open and they say it's not. Hey, Christiaan, how you doing?
Hey, morning. Morning. Yeah, doing well. You?
Yeah, really good. Missing golf in the Netherlands, I must admit. Watching the films now brings back some really good memories. And yeah, what a great day we had at Kennemer. So yeah, but you guys are all keeping well.
We are doing very well. Very busy times, to be honest. It's we're doing a lot in the course. And this is always our, let's say, our most important months of the year, with a lot of, not reconstructions, but let's say renewals of tees, pathways. We are thinning our course as well on the A-hole. So we are pulling bushes and trees and things like that just to open up the green, the course. So you're missing out. So next time you're here,
it's totally different again.
You see dunes on
nice.
the A.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I've not played the A, obviously, so I'm kind of excited. Just before you joined us, Christiaan, I was obviously, all of the content we recorded from the Netherlands was kind of back in October, really, and now we're in the depths of winter. It's a different sport in the winter. It's really hard to kind of get your golfing fix. Does everything stay open through the winter there? I've seen some really snowy pictures of Eindhoven. Like, how do you guys fare in the winter months?
Yeah, normally we stay as open as possible. Also, don't make use of the winter greens. Only if there is a long period of frost.
Okay.
In where the course will get damaged by using the summer greens.
It's a weird one, isn't it? There's like a difference of opinion in this country. Some clubs think it does no damage with a golf ball on a frosted green, and they just stay open. And others, at the slightest sign of cold weather, they switch to it. Anyway, I don't know. So look, we should do some little round of introductions. So we've got Christiaan. Christiaan, how would you introduce yourself?
Christiaan, the chairman of the Greens, like you say in England, chairman of the Green Committee. 44 years old. I'm really crazy about golf. and I like to be working on the course as well. You know, I'm a golf lover, let's say, in all aspects of the game.
Yeah, no, I got that a little bit when we in the morning we played, and we've got Lucas. Lucas, you're the. Do you say, you know, what are you, sort of links manager, head greenkeeper? There's so many titles today.
Yeah, there's all different titles, and everyone says it different at each course. But we use the term head greenkeeper. 42 years old. I work almost 22 years as a greenkeeper.
Wow.
13 years here at the Kennemer, and 5 years now as the head greenkeeper.
Wow. You guys both being in your 40s. I think, Christiaan, you listen to our tour podcast, but the repeating theme is people in Holland look ridiculously youthful. Like, you're all tall, you're all good looking, and you all look way younger than I do.
It's the healthy food over here, maybe. A lot of boerenkool and
cheese.
Cheese.
Well, what is it? Because you served us the glipper for lunch, and that didn't seem like a healthy meal. So I don't know what you're doing.
It's the sauce which makes it unhealthy, let's say. But I don't know. Maybe it's the air, and we are active people maybe here in the Holland, and keeps us slim and fit.
Well, on some of my notes, I wasn't going to get to this as the starting point, but I feel like we have to start at the glipper. Is that pronounced right? So we had this for lunch. Yeah, what is glipper? What is it?
It's a famous sandwich here on the Kennemer, world famous on the Kennemer. And it's when I became a member, that was in 2000. The first thing I ate over here was a glipper, and it's a couple of sandwiches with salad. And roast beef, but rare in the middle.
Very rare.
And then some, I think it's horseradish and an egg. There's also an egg, some eggs on top of it. And it's world famous on the Kennemer. It's a lovely dish. It's not too... sometimes you have very heavy lunches, but this is not that heavy, you know. So it's really good.
And a very typical sauce.
Very typical, yeah.
And we always ask for more sauce.
Yeah.
You guys do food great over there. Look, so that's not the reason you guys are on. I think Kennemer is one of those places where the course itself, it's not complicated, but maybe the evolution of the golf course is a little bit more complicated. 3 nines. When we got there really early to play and it was pitch black, we had a really fascinating discussion about the work you guys are doing to the course. And these short podcasts are kind of about putting in a bit more context, I guess, around a course visit beyond the short film we've produced. Obviously, I would highly recommend people to go and watch that film. I think the links look beautiful, don't they? When we got that little sort of scattering of sunshine bursting across the links, like it looks spectacular. Tell us a little bit about the course. I don't know who to go to here, but got 2 guests on the podcast. But there's 27 holes. It's quite a strange evolution that got us to 27 holes, and we spent loads of time talking over WhatsApp trying to sort of get this right in my head. I mean, who wants to go first?
Well,
yeah, I can go first. For originally it was 18 holes, and it was the club moved here in 1928. The discussions to move over obviously were earlier. In 26, I think it was 1926 that Colt came over and it was asked to design a course. In 27, it was built, and in 28 it opened. And it was a club, a very active club with a lot of golfers. And soon afterwards, there was already a request for adding another 9. And it was, let's say, in the late 30s. And then the war came, so all the plans, the Second World War came, so all the plans were in the fridge, let's say, like we say here in Holland. And so it took many decades to make it 27 holes. And it finally happened in 1985. So not that far away. It's quite recently, in fact, but it's a little bit different of the first 18. The first 18 are more open up, and the third 9 is a little bit more higher dunes, a little bit tighter also in terms of fairways and greens. So that was the involvement of the course itself.
Yeah, and I think I might be wrong in this, but I'm pretty sure Kennemer was the first assignment for Colt in the Netherlands. Yeah. I think that was the first one, and then Ernst at Depan sort of tells us that, it was kind of like how you would get a plumber or an electrician. You sort of ask your friends for recommendations and they say, oh, this chap, Colt, was very good at Kennemer. So, why didn't you speak to him? And I guess there really the legacy was born. Exactly. Frank Pennink's quite key, isn't he, in the A9? Now, we didn't play the A. You can see it off to the right on the sort of opening holes of the B loop, I think. Yeah. It looks, there's some holes with blind drives and stuff all over there. When you say it's a little tighter, do you see more of like a, maybe sort of a post-World War architecture thread there? Do you see more severity? Is it a little bit more penal? Is there a massive difference between the nines?
Yeah, there is a lot of difference. Let's start by how the layout is done. Is tighter, but also challenger. The terrain is also very challenging. There is a lot of elevation difference and only 6 bunkers on the top.
No way.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a harsh course to play because of the elevations and to place your ball in a good position to take the second shot to the tee or to the green is
And do you typically find your members play the A loop a lot? Do you play what's like the core members loop that kind of people play? Or is it a total mix? Like I've heard all loops are great, whereas usually you have like a third 9 and nobody plays that third 9, whereas I get the sense here everyone plays all loops.
Yeah. Now we are changing all the time within the loops. Yeah. And because we think all the 3 course, the 9 holes are good. When we have for instance, the club championships, we tend to play the B and C course, the original course. Also, before there, to let the history repeat itself, and then all the champions played the B and C course. But if we are reconstructing or working on B or C, then we tend to go to the A holes. But normally the loops change all the time, so we don't have a fixed routing.
Yeah, nice. And there's been quite a bit of work. Lucas, you were telling us there's been a lot of work to the links over the last few years. You seem like you're hugely invested in your craft. This is, you take it very seriously, your line of work. What have been the big things that you've done? I think our recent tour podcast, we touched on things like grass pathways, being quite key. What are the sort of big developments of the course that you've been leading?
Yeah, there are a lot of developments going on here at the Kennemers. Not only architectural part, but also in the maintenance part. But let's start at the architectural things that are changing. We made a lot of plans in the past. Plans was done by Martin Horty, our architect. And we decided to change a lot of shelf paths to grass paths. That's been a major work every winter. Every winter we did some changes from shelf paths to grass paths. Second thing was a lot of tees. They built like elevated tees, and the sides were not integrated in the dunes. In the mindset of Martin, we create new tee spots without changing the distance, but making more integrated into the dunes.
Just making it look natural, isn't it, really? Like, I think one of the things, massive takeaway from, really all of the courses was how much the aesthetic of being natural is really important. And I remember you telling us, I think it was you, Lucas, that said, we try not to have any course furniture. Like, we want almost none. We want this to feel totally natural. Yeah. And things like the grass pathways will make such a big difference to how that flows as a golf course, doesn't it? Which is amazing. Is it really hard in the Netherlands to achieve some of that, given some of the agronomical constraints you have? So I think, in the past, it's been explained like you guys don't really have the medicine cabinet, maybe the courses over in Britain and Ireland have when it comes to their links. And things like those grass pathways between dunes, like they must be really hard to kind of nurture and go without putting lots of chemicals down, right?
Yeah, it brings some challenges, but nowadays the grass types are very strong, also during winter time. And we made the grass paths in such a way that is manageable, also in the conditions in Holland, to keep it healthy without spraying any chemicals or using a lot of fertilizing. And yeah, this theory is also being done through the whole course. We not spray fungicides for like 2 years now. Anywhere on the course, we treat spots with herbicides, spot treatments, only to get the less and less input. And we did a very good job of doing that. And also the course committee is very proud of us. How are we managing this situation?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, Christiaan, I don't know if you listened to the pod we did with Cees when we were down at Eindhoven. And, I suppose for us, that was a real light bulb moment in thinking, yeah, wow, there's like a really different approach to this stuff, like in promoting the finer grasses, making things more sustainable. You've been involved as chairman of Greens for a while now. Have you seen that? Does that come through? Do you measure the turf and the soil structure? Are you seeing things like, the benefits of having more finer grasses coming through as a result?
We what we see is that we are not stressing the grasses that much anymore. So the peaks and the depths they're gone, let's say, and the sustainable grasses helps us to have a much healthier course. With no big peaks or depths, I think that's the main thing. But as a club, it takes a long time and also in a long process that the members are adapting to the new idea. And it takes also many years changing this sustainable thinking. And in the end result should be that you have a stable course condition. And even if it's the grasses on the fairway, even on the grasses on the tees as well as on the greens. Yeah. So it's a way of thinking. It's also a way of changing and taking the members with you, because the members in the end result are the players and are, like Lucas always say, they are the customers. So if they complain, then we have an issue. But it's changing to sustainable grass is really important, and you keep your grass healthy. And in that case, we see less illnesses on the greens, for instance, and that's the good move.
Yeah. Did you find at the time there was a big change in sentiment with the membership you mentioned there? Was there like a big transitionary period that meant for a while it was quite hard, like you had to have a couple of seasons maybe where it was a bit more furry or a bit harder to, it wasn't maybe, I mean, people are obsessed with green speeds in this country, and I'm sure it's no different over in Holland, but
everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, we had some opens in 2015, 2016, and our greens were really full of POA. And the only thing with POA you can do is use pesticides to keep it in some sort of playable condition. But it's not sustainable. It's like I said, the heights and the depths are really big. But it's not a sustainable way. And my predecessor, Jan, he had to change the approach, and he was able to take the club to what we are doing right now, instead of renew like 27 greens, because that's an even bigger step in the end. It seems like a short-term smart solution, but in the end for us it didn't work, because the amount of work and the amount of and the financials behind it was really terrible. But the new approach, it takes some time. And in the first beginning, because we were one of the first courses in the Netherlands to do this approach, so we had to find out like everything ourselves with our agronomist to get the right direction and find everything out. So everything was new for us. So we had.
What do you have to do? Like, I've got no idea how you do that. Do you just have to pull back on all the chemicals and kind of accept that the power grass kind of just comes out on its own, and just force it into almost a period of death for some of those grass types, and then, kind of seed more with the fescue? Like, I have no idea how you do that.
Yeah, you start with the inventarization of your situation at that moment. And the situation is also the playability, the turf condition, and also your top layer condition. And you start first to try to evolve try to increase your infiltration rate. There's a big problem here because the course is very old. It's built on the push-up native soil, and the infiltration is very low. And you first try to make the infiltration better. Get rid of the water as quickly as possible. Afterwards is, of course, the thatch problem. There's a buildup of organic matter in the top layer.
And then it can't drain, can it? Because you've got, like, thatch is basically the compression of the soil underneath. And
yes,
then you can't drain. So then that's what kind of causes the root structure to...
Yeah, it's compression and also buildup of organic matter, leaves and roots that is died and is not being allowed to be dissolved by the bacteria and funguses. Then after you treated the thatch, then finally you can overseed with good grasses. And that takes in a period of 3 to 5 years to get to that part.
So it's super long term, isn't it?
Yes,
like this takes real commitment.
Yeah, it's a real commitment. And after you have the good grasses and they establish at your top layer, then you can take very good care with your fertilizing and your water, how you irrigate the course to get the good results. And when the grasses are there, you can start to make your boundaries for playability. There's how much green speed you can average, how much clack you can average, and then try to improve that every time more.
Yeah, it's fascinating. You get me thinking. We did a podcast with John McLaughlin, who's the course manager at Wallasey, if you've heard of it. So they invented the Stableford system there, and it's kind of like you, Lucas. Like, he's so obsessed with his craft, and he has these things about trying to make things 1% better every day. So they do daily clegg readings, daily sort of stimp measurements. They're constantly looking at the grass type, and everything's about that long-termist approach. It's not about, I've got the club championships happening in June and we're just going to cut them short and we're going to get them lush. It's everything's part of a long-term plan. And I think, that's quite hard, and it's maybe quite nice having you both on, because it speaks to the work you're doing and then how you manage the membership, because those two things are very much hand in hand. So I guess, Christiaan, a lot of your work is really trying to, kind of give Lucas the air cover and the support and help kind of field all the kind of concerns when the greens don't feel as quick, or when you go through transitionary periods, which is amazing. I want to talk a little bit about the golf course. There's so many highlights. I felt like when we played the B and C, there's some, maybe because you think the Netherlands is such a flat country, you don't really expect the kind of bold features and the crazy landforms that go with this. This will be the first links course that we've probably shown on our YouTube films today.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will look at that and go, this wasn't the links course I was expecting. What are some of the big sort of highs for you and real highlights on the course?
For me, the highlights of the course are the closing holes. To be, in fact, we have 3 excellent closing holes.
You knew what you were doing there, Christiaan. I was hoping that, because we didn't play the last 3.
I know, but we have some. But I think we have 3 9s. What I love about the game is that when you're playing well, you always have to bring your score at home. And if you play a par 5 and then you can play it out and then you're happy with a 5, that's okay. But we are blessed with 3 closing holes, A9, B9, C9, which are really, you have to be on top of your game. So this is, which I think is really good. In terms of the course, what we like, we have relative small greens. It's really cold, I think. But we have because of the great condition our greens are in the last few years, we have very subtle, how do you call that? Subtle
undulations
on the green, and this is what I really like about our course. It's we play an average during the season on stimp 9.5, I think, 9.5 feet, and then this really subtle undulation, our green comes alive. This is really typical for our course, I think.
Yeah, and I think you can always. Someone very wise once said to me, "You've got some courses that have undulations around the greens and some that have it within, and when you get both, it really does come alive." And like you say, when the greens are running, 9.5 with the greens we were playing is like adequate, like it's more than adequate, because there's quite a bit of movement within those that, you go really quick. You're not going to get around the golf course is the honest answer. I want to talk, we've had a lot of people since we started releasing the Netherlands content talking about trips, and all of a sudden, because there's never been much content about the golf courses in the Netherlands, in terms of films and visuals and stuff in the past, people are really curious to know about what it's like as a visiting golfer. And Christiaan, I don't want to put you on the spot as a spokesperson for Dutch golf, but I'm kind of going to do that, because people say to us, are these clubs private? Are they accessible? Can you go and play them? Are they all crazy expensive? And yeah, I guess I kind of put you on the spot there. Maybe not just talking about Kennemer, but just golf in the Netherlands broadly as a visitor, because I feel like it's such an easy place to get to from Britain. Yeah, and it's such I can't remember doing a golf trip where there's the same breadth of course type,
We are, I think, as a country, we are a logistic country. For instance, you can travel easily to the Netherlands, and unfortunately, KLM wouldn't work with you on your trip over here, so you had to go by car. But in the end,
best decision ever, actually.
Indeed, we have our highways are really good. So. And all our clubs are close to great cities. So Eindhoven was beautiful. We are close to Haarlem and Amsterdam, which are great cities. And we have we are a little bit modest, I think, in the Netherlands as well about our golf courses. We have some great heritage. We have some great golf courses. We are close to some really beautiful cities, of course, and but we are a little bit modest, I think, and I think we are not closed as a golf course. We are a private course, but you can play always if you want, just a phone call away or an email away, and I think that counts also for other Old Nine clubs. But next to that, we have some excellent golf courses as well outside the Old Nine. Some new courses which are really nice, close to Amsterdam, with the International, with the Dutch in the south part, and Bernardus, which are all premium courses. But I think all other courses are also really nice. And so I think as a golf destination, Netherlands could be on the map. And
it's accessible, isn't it? Like it's. They're not, you're talking about, the courses we've covered in this series really are what would be maybe by objective rankings be described as the best 5, but they're all part of that old 9, that old group of courses that were there at the very early foundations of Dutch golf.
Correct.
But there's a lot more out there, isn't there? And like you say, the fact that top tier of golf is accessible in that country, that's something we're very lucky with in Britain and Ireland. And yeah, I kind of wanted your take on that, because we never really did a good job of covering that, I think, at the beginning of the series. And, having you speak to that is key. Yeah. Guys, it's been a blast just having you on for a short discussion. I think there was one part in the film where we talk about the World War II occupation and the bunkers within the course. There's 122 German military bunkers buried around within the course. Who can tell me about that? Because that's an incredible number, isn't it? And, the wartime events shape a lot of golf, I think, in Holland, it's fair to say, whether it's, Den Haag and the changes there that happen with the ownership of the course and it becoming the home of Royal Hague. And, Eindhoven with the Lancaster bomber. There's so much, it interrupted the development of the 27-hole course, which would probably look completely different, if it wasn't for World War II. I think, Lucas, your greenkeeper sheds are in the Nazi bunkers, right?
Yeah. The greenkeeper shed is my office, and the canteen and the locker room is in a Second World bunker. And it's a really great story of the course, of course. A less prettier story, of course, about the war, but it's still a piece of history here at the Kennemer. There are about 122 to 130 bunkers, and they're all built as a grouping of German occupied at that time, because they were expecting the crossover to be at Zandvoort, of near Zandvoort.
Of course, which is only, maybe 2 kilometers or something to the shore from where you are?
Yeah. Yes. Dus they built not only that, but they built artillery shooting bunkers, and also trenches for anti-tank trenches and walls. And they go also past the course. A lot with aerating. We sometimes hit a small part of the of the wall.
Do you really? Sometimes you'll be digging, and underneath, all of a sudden, you'll hit concrete.
Yeah. Yes, and a big piece of concrete. Yeah. And it's a piece of history. We use some bunkers for the canteen, one of the bunkers for the canteen and the office space, others for shelters, and others for storage bunkers. And we try to use them. But this is a piece of history of the that is very unique.
Yeah, it's like a timely reminder as well. Are they all interconnected? Is there like a sort of an underground labyrinth of how these bunkers, they're just like, they go in and they're like maybe 2 or 3 rooms, are they? And they're just dug in where, okay, got you. So there's not like some underground city here with all sorts of top secret files or anything in there.
No. And the clubhouse is also occupied, but thank God it is not destroyed or damaged by fire or anything. This is still, of bombing.
So they just left the clubhouse be, nothing really happened. And because we should talk about the clubhouse, actually. I mean,
it's a beauty.
I don't know if I can have a favorite, because the 5 places we went, they were all great clubhouses, all amazing. Like, you go to a lot of clubs in Britain and you get some great clubhouses and you get some they're okay.
Yeah.
They were all great.
Absolutely. I think it's part of what we like. It's also a social thing, golf. And a lot of the social thing happens in the clubhouse itself.
Yeah.
So and all the clubhouses are old, so they need some conservation. And I think we are proud, and every course we are proud on that. So we conserve well, I think.
Yeah. And the terrace is just a great spot. Just looking out down, I think you've got 9B down there. You've got the first hole that plays away in front of it. You've got the snooker room over your shoulder with a massive bay window that looks out. It's, I think, guys, it's been great getting you on the pod. I just wanted to talk more about Kennemer. Like, you just can't do these places justice in a 7-minute film. It's really tricky. And we had such a great time when we came and visited. I'm ashamed about what happened with the timing. So for everyone's for a bit of context, I'd agreed to meet you, Christiaan, I think at 8 o'clock in the morning. And the light was not conducive to golf. It was pitch black. I think that was my bad. I hadn't thought about the time zone changes. So we kind of we played up to 15, which is still a great finishing hole. The par 3 up the hill, iconic shot across that ridge, just the most incredible par 3. But I do feel like a day at Kennemer needs to be a day where you see all 27 holes if you're visiting, and you have lunch and you have time. And I think we talked about that in our tour podcast. But if there's one regret from that trip, it's that we tried to squeeze too much into 2 days. Like a day at Noordwijk and a day at Kennemer is better than doing 36, even though they're close. Don't let it fool you. It's these are big courses and they're places you want to spend time. So
you have to undergo it. That's you have to have the full treatment.
Well, you're coming to Blackwell, so you can see that anyway. You're going to come to Blackwell this year.
I will certainly come. Sure, for sure. And then we'll only play Blackwell then.
Yes, we'll do it for several days and we will not leave. But gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure and best of luck with everything you're doing.
All right, thank you and take care. We love your content. Yeah, it's really nice.
When Cees told that every greenkeeper in Holland is a farmer, but I'm not.
We'll put that in now. We're still recording, so we will go back to Cees and remind him that not every Dutch greenkeeper is a farmer. I've never heard that expression before, you know.
Yeah,
I've never heard that expression.
But it's not true, but I think this is a very... See, by one side, I think there is a lot of good greenkeepers here in Holland and a lot of good head greenkeepers that understand what must be done and understand how to do that.
And the thing is, it's kind of on you as well to, you know, the greenkeepers at the leading venues to kind of set the example then and bring other people through, and that will happen through generations as it kind of changes. It's the same in Britain, like, yeah. So,
but if he's seen Cees, he will mention it to him because he was, what was he? You were chief of the chairman of the Green Keeping Association.
Yeah,
and he made. And he helped also to develop the education for all the greenkeepers.
Yeah.
So Cees owes you as well, is what we're saying.
Exactly. No, you will mention it to Cees.
Yeah. Next time I see him.
Great stuff. Guys, I've really enjoyed that. That was really good fun.
Watch this.